I think we are going headfirst into a society where warped ideas and ideologies like this are becoming the norm because of these activist groups and because of these, you know, weirdo liberal divs on social media that are pushing this as well.
You know, it's really stories like this, ladies and gentlemen, that make me sit here and think, what is going on? How was this allowed to happen? How was this accepted? We just had a news story break in England where over 70 children under the ages of 7 from 3 to 4 were referred to the Gender Identity Development Service. Over 70 children in the past decade under the ages of 7. What is going on? The Daily Mail go on to report, dozens of under-5s have been referred to the controversial NHS transgender service as officials consider introducing a minimum age for referrals. The preschoolers were among 382 youngsters aged 6 and under referred to the Gender Identity Development Service over the past decade, official figures show. Campaigners say they should never have been put forward by doctors or parents for psychological assessment at such a young age. Of course, they shouldn't. Like, that is just common sense. Right? Kids at the age of 7 and under and over don't know anything about gender identity, but because this woke liberal ideology that has been around for so long and has been sweeping across society has had these woke parents, these woke doctors send kids down this direction, send kids to get referrals. It's insane. Health service bosses are now considering introducing a minimum age of 7 for future patients on the grounds that younger children are unable to communicate meaningfully with medics about wanting to identify as the opposite sex. You know what? It's that sentence right there that really just shows me we are living in a clown world society, right? They want to consider a minimum age of 7 for future patients on the grounds that younger children are unable to communicate meaningfully with medics about wanting to identify as the opposite sex. Really? It's taken us that long? And I would say, again, kids over the age of 7 don't know how to do that. But on the grounds they might not be able to communicate, we're going to have to raise the minimum. Mate, a new consultation by NHS England also acknowledges that little boys showing an interest in girls' clothes or toys or vice versa is reasonably common and usually not indicative of gender incongruence. It comes ahead of a long-awaited final report by consultant paediatrician Dr. Hilary Cass, which is expected to make further far-reaching recommendations about transgender services for young people after an interim study led to GIDS being ordered to shut down. The government is also trying to stop the spread of contentious gender identity ideology in schools, with Equalities Minister Kemi Badenoch declaring that teaching children they can be born in the wrong body is harmful. The GIDS clinic, run by the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust in North London since 1989, had no lower age limit on referrals, but not all were accepted or led to treatment being provided. Stats produced by the trust show the astonishing growth in numbers of young people seen there over the past decade, from 136 in 2010 to 2011 to 3,585 in 2021 to 2022. Further details show that 12 3-year-olds were referred to the clinic over that period, along with 61 4-year-olds, 140 5-year-olds, and 169 6-year-olds. Man. Right, there's a lot to talk about there, a lot to digest. The growth in numbers is something you really need to look at. It went from 136 people in 2010 to 2011 to just over 3,500 in 10 years. That alone just tells everybody something is wrong in society, and kids are being brainwashed and the parents are also brainwashed as well. There is a lot of questions that need to be answered. These parents have pushed these kids in that direction. I don't get how 12 3-year-olds were referred to the clinic, how 61 4-year-olds were referred to the clinic, how 140 5-year-olds and 169 6-year-olds were referred to the clinic. Like, how do you... Something really, again, is wrong, and questions need to be answered by a lot of people. How was this allowed to happen? Surely people in high positions knew about this going on, and they did nothing. Anyway, I want to show you this clip that I've seen on GBNews from a guy called Adam Brooks, who really went off on this situation, this whole issue, and says a lot of things that I think people will resonate with. Take a listen.
I've got skin in the game here. I've got a 4-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old daughter. neither know enough in this world to think that they can change their sex. My 4-year-old thinks she's Elsa from Frozen, for God's sake.
Yep.
So, you know, 3- and 4-year-olds being referred, it's the parents.
Yeah.
They're warped. I believe they're perverted. I think that they are mentally ill to push their children into this. At the end of the day, a child cannot be charged for a crime, no matter how serious, under 10 years of age. How can they be responsible enough to want to change their sex? I think we are going headfirst into a society where warped ideas and ideologies like this are becoming the norm because of these activist groups and because of these, you know, weirdo liberal divs on social media that are pushing this as well.
All right, Matthew, you know, look, we've got here more than 70 children aged 3 and 4 were sent to a controversial NHS transgender clinic. I mean, is there any justification for that?
Well, look, I think I'm very glad to hear from the in the statement from the Tavistock that these were just conversations that they had, and for them to absolutely reiterate there was no treatment involved. So it seems to me what happened is that they were basically sort of had conversations. What do you do? You know, kind of support group style conversations. Now, whether or not that's appropriate is a second question. But at least we're not talking about doing anything irreversible or medicalising their decisions. I mean, what worries me is that, you know, I played with a doll when I was 5 or 6. It was pretty radical in the 1980s. But you know, is there anybody that actually this is the most reinforcing of gender stereotypes? It's the most conservative with a small c thing imaginable, because you said it's not actually gender neutral. It's people who are very into gender and are saying, you know, oh, my kid's in the wrong one. So it's actually a reinforcement of kind of all of the things that, in a sense, the liberal left has spent 40 years trying to get away from.
Look, we have got Hollywood actors and actresses that are parading their kids around like fashion accessories, like the Chihuahuas were paraded around in the 90s, right? There can't be that many actors and actresses that have trans kids or kids that want to be. They are doing it because they think it signals virtue and they think it's trendy. And these woke liberal idiots on social media spread it around.
Yeah, he hits the nail on the head. He really does, and just says it how it is. I mean, if we look at this issue now and see what's going on, what's it going to look like in 5 to 10 years? Because it's not stopping, it's growing. It's crazy to me that people think these kids can make these life choices, right? But when it comes to things like smoking, drinking, tattoos, oh, no, we're all in agreement there that they can't choose those things and they shouldn't do those things for obvious reasons. But when it comes to gender ideology, oh, no, of course they can make those decisions. Just take a look at this clip of this guy going around in the street asking people, can kids get tattoos? And the obvious answer is no. They all say no. But then he asks them another question, and this is what they say. Take a watch.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to get a tattoo?
I'm going to say no.
Probably not.
No. It's probably too young to make decisions.
It's a pretty permanent decision.
They can't make the decision for themselves yet. It's something permanent on their body.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes.
Yes.
And I understand how that sounds really hypocritical.
Yes, it's a permanent change on their body, but I think that at that point in their life, they probably know who they are, who they want to be.
And you think so at 12 years old?
Yes.
Do you think a 12-year-old should be able to consent to puberty blockers?
Yes, because that's not a permanent decision.
This is how woke liberals and woke leftists think. It is insane, and those people just coincidentally seem to be in a lot of powerful positions. Leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on this issue. I want to hear your thoughts on this whole story. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications. If you have enjoyed the video as well, make sure to leave a like rating, comment on this video, share this video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out.